Hello, welcome if you're watching this recording. I think the biggest magic or the biggest power going on here is just this connection, just really doing whatever we need to let go of our day, to let go of the world that is, that's a really hard thing to do these days with all that's going on, with just how ridiculous it can feel, seems, is. So can we give ourselves permission, at least for this little bit, at least for right now, to let go, to truly let go? I think maybe there aren't any wiser words on the planet than let go and let God, right? Let go and allow love. So can we let go in this moment, let go of this physical world, kind of know and experience that it is all in God's hands, truly. And can we connect right now to ourselves, but also connect to each other? There is something magical that happens when we connect, when we experience our loving for another and we receive loving from another, and we find this like-mindedness, this like-heartedness. And so we are here to be seen and heard and loved in whatever ways we are. Just really give yourself permission to feel that just by being here, we are in some way a little more understood, a little more acknowledged, a little more just loved and cherished just for all that you are. And we just allow this present moment, this connection into our heart, ourself, and to each other, just to help us in continuing to release deeper levels, more tension from our body, more stuck loops in our mind, more pain, suffering, discomfort in our emotions. Can we give ourselves permission to feel like an innocent child, just a pure, innocent being that is worthy of being loved in this moment? And even just for a moment, just let go of taking responsibility for the world or responsibility for anything other than our hearts and our energy field in this moment. And it is this connection to our true selves, to the Holy Spirit, that we are here to awaken into, as much as we are here to love and have so much compassion for our humanity. We're using our loving for humanity to lift us more fully into who we are as big, bright lights, as unconditional lovers, as souls, as angels. And so we just ask through grace, through a connection to the Holy Spirit, that we be supported in being able to see this life more clearly, that we be supported in being able to radically love and have compassion, even for those who perhaps don't have it themselves, can't express it with another. Just how can we have that radical loving, that radical acceptance? Just support our spirit in really using this life to lift us into this greater spiritual awareness, this loving, this kindness. And in this process, we do ask that anything that can be cleared, karma, negativity, imbalance, disease, anything that can be lifted from any level of our consciousness, we ask that that be done. And we're just so grateful to be learning, to be lifting, to be given so many opportunities right now to grow in our compassion, our forgiveness, and our loving. For all of this, we say thank you. And so it is. And so we're going to just do a pretty simple exercise today. One of the themes that came up last week was softness. And for those of you like me that are very kinesthetic and tangible, softness really has helped me over the years kind of learn what loving and compassion is in the present moment. Sometimes when I'm judging someone or something's really painful, like, what is acceptance? What is loving? What is cooperation, right? Like, I just, in my nervous system, I just feel tight and hard and stuck. It's like my mind can go to, well, I wanna let that go, but for whatever reason, my nervous system and my body does understand, be soft. And it may be a different word for you. I know it's sweet for some people, it can be still for others, but just be aware of what is that frequency that if we were here to evolve from hardness, from judgment, really from being in reaction to the world, from being in a lack of loving, the opposite of loving, through to softness, loving, unconditional loving and softness and sweetness and compassion for all, no matter what they're doing, no matter how they're showing up, no matter how wrong they seem. What is that word for you? Softness really works for me. Is it soft, or is it another word? Really take responsibility for your own experience right now. And it could be loving. Love might be the word that really helps you energetically move from either I'm really being tough and critical on myself, push, do better, Zoe, like tough, hard, through to no compassion. I'm not going to go into the science, but even science now supports this metaphysical, spiritual idea that if we are in resistance or tightness to a pattern or a belief, we'll hold on to it. We'll have it for longer than we need. But being kind and soft and loving, compassionate with ourselves helps us let go of anything that we no longer need. So we're just going to find a moment of hardness, harshness, judgment. And it could be against yourself. It could be against anyone else. I know as I look out in the world right now, it's very easy to find a judgment, to find a part of myself that doesn't understand, truly doesn't understand, and has a really hard time with that, and kind of armors up and wants to attack, kind of wants to change, wants to be against. The againstness I see outside. And so can we find that moment, just one? I'm going to give us some silence so we can find that. And so in a very abstract kind of way, I want you to just kind of connect with the hardness, connect with the toughness, connect with the part of you that contracts and that contracts, that's tight. And I just want you to acknowledge that in this moment, it is trying to protect you. It is trying to serve us. It is trying to help us do better. And so in some very weird way, let's just pick it up and give it a hug and say, thank you for trying to keep me safe from a very scary world. Thank you for trying to help me be good and be right and just be good, be a good human. Just thank you for helping me. Pick it up, love it. And in this same breath, really with all the softness and sweetness that we can, let it go, letting it know that it's actually holding us back from being that softness, that kindness, that expansive, hopeful, unlimited energy that we do want. So kind of very abstractly connecting to wherever we feel that it's tight, whatever contraction we can find in our body, and thanking it, it's done a job. But with our loving, really letting it know we don't need you anymore. We don't need to armor up and fight. We don't need to distrust this moment. We are going to trust what is. We're going to let any againstness, tightness, judgment go. And we're going to show up in loving, show up in kindness, show up in compassion. And so we're just going to have at least 17 seconds. So I'm going to give us a minute, but just to really feel that softness, just do your best to keep consciously unraveling the hardness in your nervous system, the judgment in your mind. Just in this situation, can you find greater hope, greater peace, greater loving for all that's going on? We'll have about a minute. And sometimes as I'm doing this, I find my body naturally does this. But perhaps the most important key here is to also just allow from our heart center to have loving and compassion flood to all going on in the moment that I'm aware of. It's very easy to kind of be against a particular group going on. And so I'm just flooding loving, flooding compassion, really in the profound experience. If they could see what they were doing, I really don't believe they would be doing it. So I'm letting them off the hook so that maybe in the future they will let themselves off the hook. But can you just have compassion? It's kind of like the impossible human feat, but can you truly be impossible, superhuman? Experience radical, radical compassion, radical fullness and loving. And so in this moment, we just thank ourselves. We thank ourselves for all the moments where we are able to find loving and compassion for ourselves and another. And we do send up a very clear intention and a very clear prayer for having greater compassion, greater acceptance, greater kindness and loving for all of God's existence. Those that we disagree with, those that we agree with, victims, perpetrators alike. Can we have greater softness and loving in our heart for them so that we're not draining our energy and stooping down to that low vibration and being left rendered kind of useless? Can we do whatever we need to continue to let our lightness, our loving, our compassion be what guides us? For all of this, we do give our thanks. And so it is. Love you all. I don't think I need to say it out loud again, but yeah, these really are tough times. And spiritually, I'm going to boldly say it. I'm pretty sure we're all on this page, but every single thing going on is an opportunity for us to lift into greater loving and compassion, greater kindness, greater forgiveness. Everything going on will help us find our own judgments and our own way to be free of this world, but it's definitely not easy. So how can we just be really kind and compassionate to our humans, give our human selves, our nervous systems what we need, so that we can. I heard Jane Goodall. I'm sure if any of you on social last week, she passed last week, and the internet has been flooded with everyone's honoring of Jane Goodall. And not that she has an overly spiritual perception other than a profound oneness with animals, which is very spiritual, but just an ability to show up in hope, in positivity, and loving. Really, without that, life becomes very sad, very challenging, very draining, and it feels impossible sometimes, right? To keep showing up in hope and positivity, showing up for what we want despite what's going on. Anyway, I love you all. Take really good care of yourselves. I can't encourage us all enough in moments when we're really out of balance, using the 4-step, really giving our feelings a voice so that we might be aware of what some of our own patterns this time of life is trying to release from us, right? Even when there is something horrific going on outside of us, if we have a big reaction, there is actually inner clearing and healing available for us. So are we going to show up for that part of us that's scared or angry or lost or betrayed or confused? Can we use these moments to heal and lift into greater loving? Love you all. Have beautiful weeks. See you soon.